Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Harakak Badash. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord who's doing this truth, pushing this truth. All right, shalom. So, got a quick clip. All right, the title of this lesson will be "The Curses." All right, of the Bible point to us, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, of being the 12 tribes, the Israelites, okay? So we're going to watch this clip, and Lord willing, it's edifying.
Hello, people. Look, I'm in the Galilee Sea. Look, the water is red, like blood. Look at the water. This is a very, very bad omen.
All right, and Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah is about to bring down, this reborn, ancient Roman Empire. All right, which is the NATO and the EU, and that great whore being Babylon the Great America. All right, so and Amalek, who's the modern day Jewish people, they're a part of this great red dragon. They're a part of this beast system, okay? And they control it, they control and manipulate Babylon the Great America as well. All right, so the Lord is about to bring all these devils down, okay? So Amalek just over there, they got their seas and things like that is turning into what? Red blood. Okay? So these are signs that's happening in the last days. All right? And Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah is about to bring great judgment on our enemies. Okay? So we're not just doing all this prophesying. We're not just men shouting, okay? We're actually bringing out the prophecies and the will of the Lord, of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, okay? So we don't have too much longer to when the Lord is about to just bring extreme judgment on our enemies, okay? Including 2/3 of our people. 2/3 of our people that refuse to repent and come back to the Lord. The Lord is going to bring extreme judgment on them too. All right, but we're in the time where the Lord is about to bring down our enemies. Okay, and the Lord is doing it now, but it's going to increase. Worse is to come. Okay, so and beginning with the elder apostles, great millstone, down to the least of us, we've been saying for decades upon decades upon decades, that they're not the true Israelites. Okay, they're not the biblical Israelites. All right, and people don't. Well, not that they. Well, they don't question and they don't consider, but they're not allowed to at the same time. Okay, because Amalek, okay, aka the Jewish, they control, media and things like that. All right, so they're in power. According to Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, so they're the ones in power. Okay, they're the ones in control. Control equals power. All right, so therefore people can't, people that relies on this system, and trust in this system for their livelihood and things like that, they refuse to, say anything. Okay, but the only ones that been bringing out this truth, beginning with the elder apostles of Great Millstone down to the least of us, all right, are the Hebrew Israelites, all right, and we've been bringing these scriptures out, and showing that the prophecies of the Bible and the curses, the blessings and the curses only fit you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay, so we're gonna go over a few curses that the Lord put on the true Israelites. Okay, and it's not just the Hebrew Israelites. Is I'm trying to think of that president of Egypt. Lord willing, his name come back to me. I ain't said his name in forever. All right, but one of the presidents of Egypt, said that the true Jews. He said that they left here black and came back white. So but I know certain men of the Lord know what I'm talking about. Lord willing, his name come back to me. Okay, so it's history, it's books, it's information. All right, it's information proving that they're not the people of the book. They're not the true Israelites. All right, they're not the true people of that land. All right. So going to go over these curses. All right. I think it's Abdel Nasser. I might be wrong, but I think that's his name. The second president of Egypt, something like that. Abdel Nasser. All right. He was the one that said that, you left here black and came back white. Okay. So, and they had those wars. Okay. They had Palestinian wars, in 1948 and before, in order to get in that land, So they literally don't fit none of the prophecies at all. Okay. So without further ado, Lord willing, this is edifying. This is Deuteronomy 28, and I'm gonna start at 45. It says, "Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee." All right. "And they shall be upon thee for a sign." All right. "And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever, and upon your children forever." Okay. So these curses will be what? On the Israelites, all 12 tribes. Okay. And the only one that's going to free us from these curses is the Lord. All right. Yahweh Shah. When Yahweh Shah come back, who the world falsely and ignorantly called Jesus Christ, that's not his name. Okay. But when Yahweh Shah come back to the earth, he's going to be the one that free us from the curses. Okay. And free us from this captivity and give us immortality and new bodies. Okay. So in these last days, even unto this very day, these curses is going to cleave to the Israelites, 12 tribes. Okay. So these curses only fit one group of people. All right. So let's jump down. Bear with me. I'm gonna read 2 curses in Deuteronomy 28. Okay. And this is why we say you people of the world are not honest people, because the Hebrew Israelites been bringing out this truth, for 35 plus years, and they continue, especially our, niggas, so-called black people. You continue to say that the Hebrew Israelites are not, we're not the true people of the Bible. All right. Bear with me 1 minute. All right. So back at 54, okay? You know, and like we say, these people are not honest people, okay? We bring out these prophecies, we bring out the curses, and they completely ignore everything we're saying. Just to say, without any proof, without any proof, saying that the Jewish people are the Israelites, or the Jews, without any proof, okay? All right, you know, Christians don't question Christianity. All right, nor do they question this society. Okay, Babylon the Great America. Nor do they question, you know, the people over there in Israel, claiming to be God's chosen people. They don't question nothing. All right, all they concern about is money. All right, these pastors and what they push to their congregation, all they're concerned about is money and pushing the lies and the agenda of Esau, the so-called white man. All right, you know, which these pastors are controlled. You know, they can't go into they can't speak on certain things and things like that under the 501c3 tax write-off. All right, but without further ado, this Deuteronomy 28 and 54, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Okay? So that that curse fits you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right? And it's heavily upon you so-called blacks, African Americans. You see this heavily on the tribe of Judah, okay? You know, being the head tribe. All right, so we're going to read 68, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, okay? The Lord is going to what? Bring us into slavery again. But it's here's the important point. It says again with ships, okay? There's only one nation of people that went into slavery on ships. You can't deny it. All right, and it, you know, it's pitiful, and this is why we need salvation, because you do have so-called African Americans out here teaching that we didn't go into slavery on slave ships. Okay, you actually got you know, I done heard Muslims say that you know, we didn't come over here on slave ships. You know, we was already over here. You got that doctrine, which you did have remnants of us already over here. You know, and the Northern Kingdom was over here. Okay, the 10 tribes. All right, they came over here during the Assyrian captivity. All right, during Salmanassar. All right, and the scriptures goes into that. Okay, so the Northern Kingdom was already over here, you know, way before Christopher Columbus. Okay, and way before, you know, the Europeans came over here and colonized. All right, you know, so you got niggas pushing that doctrine of we never came over here on slave ships. You know, so they're lost. All right. The Lord say, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." All right. So they're just gonna stay unbelievers. You know, they're gonna continue to wallow in their sins and refuse to repent and keep, you know, teaching their off and false doctrine. Ultimately, until they be destroyed, because all hell is about to break loose. All right. You know, the Lord is about to bring you know, extreme judgment on the earth. Okay. You know, known as Jacob's trouble. All right. In the lake of fire. Okay. And that lake of fire is those nuclear missiles. Okay. So, and those nuclear missiles will be used in the Battle of Armageddon, World War III. Okay, so shit about to get real. You people about to see that the Hebrew Israelites was telling the truth the whole time. Okay, and the Lord is showing you right now. All right, and then you got on top of that, you got the men of the Lord bringing out the prophecies. You know, actually reading out of the Bible and showing you that God's chosen people are going to be scattered in the last days, and the Lord is going to what, rescue or save a remnant of them in the last days. All right, before that lake of fire happens. Okay, so it says, and we're going to prove that too after this precept. So this is Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, talking about your homeland. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Okay? Meaning no man shall free you. Okay? So let's go to Matthew 24. All right, the Lord is going to save us. All right? The elect of the nation of Israel. All right. Bear with me. So I'm going to start at 30. All right. It's Matthew 24:30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Okay. The sign of the Son of Man in heaven is when the Lord and the angels, all right, come back to this earth and what the world knows as UFOs or spaceships, okay, which the Bible calls chariots. In that day, okay, the angels are not going to be hiding no more, okay? The so-called UFOs are not going to be hiding no more. In that day, you're going to see thousands and thousands of them in the sky, all right? Okay, so it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds and from one end of the heaven to the other. Right? Because the Israelites are scattered. Okay? That's the point I'm making. Matter of fact, James 1:1. All right, this James 1:1. James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. Okay, so the Israelites will be scattered, all right, in these last days. Okay, so let's go here. It's Exodus 17:16. Exodus 17:16. For he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So the Lord is warring against Amalek, against the Jewish. All right? They have no peace. All right? There's no peace to the wicked, like the scripture says. Okay? Let's get that. They have no peace. Bear with me. All right. So this Isaiah, it says it twice. Isaiah 48:22. Isaiah 48:22. It says, there is no peace, saith the Lord, unto the wicked. Okay, so there's no peace. That's why they got wars. All right. History proves and shows that bear with me, but history shows that, they converted to Judaism, all right, which the Bible doesn't teach Judaism, okay? And the language that they speak is not even Paleo-Hebrew, All right. So it's so much evidence proving that they're not the original people. All right, not the Israelites. Okay, of that land. Okay, and plus the Israelites are not going to be in their homeland in the last days. The Lord has to put them in their homeland. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna end it on this one. This Joel 3:1. For behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, and I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. That's the proper way to say it, but here it says Jehoshaphat. And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land. Okay? And that's exactly what these heathens, these Edomites, all right, have done. All right. And they've been warring, they've been fighting over that land. All right, so-called Jewish Amalek. All right, they've been the Ashkenazi Jews. Okay, they've been warring over that land. All right, dealing with the Palestinians and the Arabs. All right, so they fighting over a land that's not even theirs. Okay. All right, and these wars and rumors of wars, they're building up to World War III. All right, so eventually all these nations are going to get involved and nuclear missiles will start flying. Okay, so Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to end it and give our praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham, Habakak Badash. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord doing the same, teaching the same. Shalom.